Thank you for tuning to the Metapalooza show. Be sure to leave a like, share, comment and subscribe. Your feedback is appreciated. May God bless.
Thank you very much, and I will, as chair, start off the Q&A before I go to my colleague, Senator Cormier, Senator Duchesne. Mr. Benji, I've been listening. I've heard your testimony here with a great degree of interest, and it's not the first time we've heard, of course, digital creators talking about a bill that is designed to determine who is viewed and who is not viewed, and we understand the holes in this bill as we continue to study this bill week after week after week. There are always a number of things that have been appearing, but something that has disturbed me, which I read, of course, in the Globe and Mail today, and I followed the exchange on social media. And you've alluded to it a bit about attacks and hit pieces. And I'm going to ask a very pointed question because I'm very concerned. It's one thing when the government is trying to pass a bill that determines what we see and what we post and what we hear. It's another thing when I hear a witness before a Senate committee pointing out that somehow his voice was intimidated or somehow was attacked or by a parliamentary process. And the allegations today that came out, it seems that the attacks on you came from a member of parliament who was associated directly with the government, parliamentary secretary, none other than the Minister of Heritage. Can you elaborate, please, some of the details of what that is all about? Because that is very disturbing to me as a parliamentarian.
Thank you, Chair. Happy to elaborate briefly. I really don't want to take up a lot of time with this. I'm inspired by Orby and Morgan, and I want to hear more from them. This is the second time I've appeared before committees, once in the House and now in the Senate. Before both times, I had to wrestle with hit pieces in the media, and digital creators have had to wrestle with organizations questioning our agency all the time. This specific piece in the Globe said that I wasn't lobby compliant. I've reached out to the lobby group the first time it came up. I reached out again, and I reached out again, and they have confirmed to me in email that for the purposes of the act, I am compliant with the registry. So I don't understand, the timing of that article was suspect, to say the least. But I would prefer we turn our time to focusing on the task at hand.
I appreciate that, but as a parliamentarian, the process of transparency and accountability is very, very important to us. You said that you had reached out to officials that have validated that the accusations levied against you were not founded. Who did you apply to?
Yeah, so the specific levy and the specific question is about financial disclosure of private industry, which I've never hid, by the way. It's now appeared in like 4 different publications and been syndicated globally. This is not news. We receive funding from our platform partners. And the lobbying group responded to me today because I asked for it in writing after a couple of phone calls. Hello, Mr. Benzi. Thank you for your follow-up email. As stated in my previous response, the Act requires for the purposes of the registry disclosing government funding only. Please do not hesitate to contact us for any other question. I have not received a dime of government funding.
Is that letter from the lobbying commissioner that you're referring to?
It's from info@lobbycanada.gc.ca.
Would you be willing to table that before the
certainly? Certainly,
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Last question I have before I turn it over to my colleagues. Did you feel in any shape, way, or form throughout the House of Commons process that you were intimidated or silenced or bullied by anybody?
Oh, it's on the tape. You can watch my appearance in the House in the committee meeting. I was attacked, and not just me. Digital creators were attacked in a way that we've never seen before. To the point where I'll tell you, a lot of digital creators have refused to come forward and refused to speak because they've seen the treatment that we've received. I was lied about in committee meetings.
Are there other digital creators that would feel bullied or attempted by any parliamentarian to censor them or to silence them, other than yourself?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for them, but you can look back at Darcy Michael's testimony on the Artists Act, where he actually had to stop and say, I feel like I'm being bullied in the middle of that testimony. Questions that none of our peers get.
Thank you, Mr. Benzie. I will turn it over to my colleagues, Senator Cormier and then Senator Millville-Duchesne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my question is for Mr. Benzie. I'm interested to better understand the relation between the creators and the platforms, the tech platforms. So it is fair to say that creators who you represent are reliant on the tech platforms to host their content. I would like to know what is the negotiating power of the creators towards those platforms? And more importantly, what should these platforms be doing to better support Canada's digital-first creators? Not what they're doing actually, but what they could do better. So that's my question.
Excellent question. Thank you, Senator. And Urbi and Morgan are here and can answer about the relationship even better than I can. But I can say that there's a big misconception out there that the creators work for a specific platform. They don't. The platforms are providing a service. They provide a distribution method, and they share their revenues with the creators. So there's no obligation for us to use them. It's not like we're not in the old broadcast world where one platform or 3 companies or 4 companies have control. And no creator, no successful creator is really beholden to any one platform. All creators use different platforms in different ways and build communities. The platforms are a distribution method.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you. I mean, I understand
Sure.
that. I understand that, but they do a lot of money. So I want to understand what is there in that for the creators, and what is the relation, and what can they do better, because they do a lot of money.
Sure.
So
sure.
and I'm worried for creators. So I want to hear you on that, and of course, Ms. Roy, if you would please also give us your point of view on this.
If I can have just one. Sorry, no, go ahead, Urbi. I apologize.
No, go ahead, Mr. Benzie, finish.
Okay.
Yes.
No, they can be doing a lot more. I think you should take all the money that you're asking for from the digital platforms and quadruple it. They should be investing more in the creator economy here in Canada. But it should be focused on the supply side. Create more creators, more funding programs, more programs to enrich creators, more training on how to use lights and cameras and microphones, how to build a better business, how to make merch sales. Invest that way in helping creators build a business. That's what makes a successful creator. Orby, please.
I was going to say very similar to what you just said, Scott, is, I have been, so I'm mainly on the TikTok platform. And I will say, as an example, the billboard, that really big billboard that I was on, I was paid for that by TikTok. So TikTok provides me and other creators in Canada with a lot of opportunities to get out there. I spoke at the Bufferfest about content creation, and I have a lot of opportunities, and I'm not the only one. Yeah, sure, they could help me more. Sometimes I ask them, can you help me more? And I ask them questions, and I do think that they listen. I think that it's a continuous conversation that we have. I would like more training as I continue to go through this space, maybe managing deals with brands, making sure I understand what I'm worth. One big thing that I talk about is just being able to work with other content creators. And I do think that that's something that we, as digital content creation is a very lonely place. And so, I think that's something that a lot of digital content creators feel. So yes, they are helping, and they could help more.
From my understanding, TikTok announced it was expanding its creator fund to Canadian creators in January 2022. So do Canadian digital creators have access to the TikTok creator fund today? And if not, why? What's the delay? Could you speak to us about this?
I don't work for TikTok, so I don't have an answer for that. I don't have access to the creator fund, and I'm not sure really what the answer is. To be honest, I think it's coming, but I'm not sure when. So yeah. I can't speak for TikTok.
Okay, in a nutshell, I'm just going to read what Bill C-11 is and how this is going to affect YouTube. The online streaming bill aims to modernize the Broadcasting Act to cover platforms including YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Netflix. The government has said this bill would not regulate user-generated content such as cat videos, only commercial materials such as professionally produced music videos. Okay, I don't know what this is. September 28th. It was last month. Okay, what will Bill C-11 do? Okay, Bill C-11, according to a Google search, is an act to amend the Broadcasting Act and to make related and consequential amendments to other acts. What? Okay, that doesn't really explain a lot. Is YouTube allowed in Canada? Unfortunately, YouTube TV is the only available in the United States. So if you're a Canadian resident, you can't access YouTube TV unless you use VPN. Alright, I'm just scrolling through this. Can Canadians make money from YouTube? 88% of Canadian YouTubers who make over 100 grand consider it their full-time job. To be fair, YouTubers who are millionaires, are in the minority. Yeah, still, it is not impossible to make 6 figures per year on YouTube. No, of course not. All you have to do is sell out. And it is entirely possible to make thousands from YouTube. Yeah. As according to what these liberals, or I don't know what these people who, they look at YouTube as a way to make a business. Obviously that these people who are, I guess, representatives to the YouTube community, none of them seem to be making any sense. Like, it's just word salad. They did not, after all that, describe what Bill C-11 is doing to the average little guy, the content creator who probably makes dozens of videos but doesn't even get any fair treatment or due credit. And there's a lot of creators who are artists who don't do this primarily for the money. That was the last thing on my mind, honestly. Do you know that I've actually made over 24 channels? And do you know why most of them failed? It's not because that I wasn't doing enough work. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the fact that I, as a YouTube creator, have been censored many times because YouTube's community guidelines states that anything that goes against the guidelines according to their rules, if I say anything basically that is undermining their rules, that they can actually censor or terminate my account via a community guideline strike. In other words, if I get 3 strikes talking about certain issues, like the RNA Kool-Aid jabs, for one example, I've been censored for that. And apparently there has been a lot of censorship that's been happening in the YouTube world. Our CEO, Susan Wojcicki, if I haven't pronounced that correctly, I don't care, but she's been making close to like $1 billion off the backs of hardworking creators. Now, many YouTubers, they do this for free because they love doing it. They love to create. Unfortunately, there is a small percentage of YouTube creators that are doing business with these CEO types, and that's why they're getting paid. They're selling out, and they're trying to promote YouTube as a Netflix 2.0. They're reinforcing these new bills so that they can turn it into basically Netflix 2.0, and therefore censor anyone that doesn't go along with this narrative. And that's basically what it boils down to. And most of these people are fakes. I don't believe a single one of them are actually creators or understand what YouTube is or why creators do it. I believe that the censorship has been going on long enough, and to censor Christians as well. Good, honest people who are telling the truth, they're getting censored now, and they have to go over to BitChute or Rumble or Odyssey or wherever. And YouTube is obviously bought and paid for by the powers that be. It is what it is, and I may have to go back to entertaining for a while, but that is the nature of YouTube. If you say anything that upsets the CEOs or goes against the regulations, you could be censored or terminated. That's just how it is in today's YouTube world. And unfortunately, that's the world that exists today. I mean, free speech, the last bastion of free speech, and now we have to seek asylum in other platforms, which eventually may get censored over there too. I don't know. I hope not.